Most gardeners think, more fertilizer equals more growth. That belief is quietly ruining a lot of gardens. I've tested it across raised beds, containers, and even hydroponics, and the pattern is always the same. Plants shoot up fast, then stall, leaves get soft, fruiting drops, and suddenly you're chasing problems you created yourself. Overfeeding doesn't just waste money, it disrupts soil biology, locks out nutrients, and weakens the entire system. What changed everything for me wasn't adding more fertilizer. It was switching to a homemade input that actually works with the soil instead of overwhelming it. But before I get into that, there's one thing you need to understand, because this is where most people go wrong without realizing it. When I started measuring what was happening in my soil instead of guessing, everything shifted. A simple tool like the YAMRON 4-in-1 soil moisture meter helped me catch a mistake I'd been making for years: uneven watering and pH drift in the same bed. One section was slightly acidic and holding too much water, while another was dry and underperforming. No fertilizer could fix that imbalance. I'll leave the exact one I use in the description if you want to check it out. But once I corrected those basics, the homemade fertilizer I'm about to show you started working at a completely different level. Because the truth is, fertilizer only works if your system is ready to receive it. So here's what actually made my plants explode with growth. It's not a store-bought mix. It's not complicated. And most people overlook it because it doesn't look impressive. It's a simple fermented plant fertilizer made from weeds and green biomass. Now, before you dismiss that, this is where things get interesting. The weeds growing in your garden are not random. They're pulling specific nutrients from the soil, often from deeper layers your crops can't reach. When you convert those weeds into a liquid feed, you're recycling those nutrients in a form your plants can use immediately. But, and this is critical, the way you make it determines whether it works or fails. I've tested different methods, and here's the one that consistently delivers results. I start with fresh green material, things like nettle, comfrey, or even common garden weeds. I chop them roughly, not too fine, and fill a container about 2/3 full. Then I add water until everything is submerged. Now here's where most advice online goes wrong. People leave it to rot and call it fertilizer. That's not what you want. You want controlled fermentation, not decay. So I cover the container loosely and let it sit for about 7 to 10 days, depending on temperature. You'll know it's ready when the liquid turns dark and has a strong but not putrid smell. At that point, I strain it and dilute it at about a 1:10 ratio with water. And this is where timing matters more than people think. I don't apply it randomly. I apply it when plants are actively growing, not stressed, not dry, not waterlogged. Early morning or late evening works best. In my raised beds, I use about 1/2 liter per plant, depending on size. In containers, I go lighter, maybe 1/4 liter, to avoid oversaturation. And the results are not subtle. Within a few days, leaf color deepens. Within a week, growth accelerates. And over time, fruiting becomes more consistent. But here's the part most gardeners never figure out, and honestly, this is where the real gains come from. This fertilizer works because it feeds the microbes, not just the plant. When you apply it, you're introducing not just nutrients, but, well, biological activity. And that activity unlocks nutrients already present in your soil. That's why I said earlier, fertilizer alone doesn't fix anything, it's the system that matters. Now let's talk about a mistake I made early on that nearly cancelled out all these benefits. I applied the fertilizer correctly, but my soil surface was bare. That one detail made a huge difference. Without a protective layer, moisture fluctuates too quickly. The top layer dries out, microbial activity drops, and the fertilizer effect weakens. So I started adding a light mulch layer, about 2 to 3 centimeters of dried grass or chopped plant material. That stabilized everything. Moisture stayed consistent, temperature leveled out, and microbial life had a stable environment to thrive. Combined with the liquid feed, it created a system where plants didn't just grow, they stayed productive. And this is where most gardeners get stuck. They focus on inputs instead of conditions. Now let's bring this into a real-world scenario. In one of my test beds, I had 2 rows of spinach. Same soil, same sunlight, same planting time. One row got the fermented plant feed and proper mulch. The other got a standard commercial fertilizer without mulch. The difference after 3 weeks was obvious. The homemade fed row had thicker leaves, deeper color, and faster regrowth after harvest. The other row grew, but it was inconsistent and needed more frequent feeding. That's when it became clear. This isn't about replacing fertilizer. It's about upgrading how your system works. And if you're growing in containers, the same principle applies, but with tighter control. Containers dry out faster, so your margin for error is smaller. When I use this fertilizer in containers, I always check moisture first. If the soil is even slightly dry, I water first, then apply the feed. Skipping that step can stress the roots and reduce uptake. In hydroponics, the approach changes, but the lesson stays the same. You're not using fermented plant liquids directly in most systems, but the idea of balanced, moderate feeding still applies. When I reduced nutrient concentration slightly and focused on stability, plant health improved. Less fluctuation, less stress, better results. Now here's something I teased earlier, and this is where things really start to compound. Frequency. Most people either underfeed or overfeed. There's no middle ground. What worked best for me was applying this homemade fertilizer once every 7 to 10 days during active growth. Not daily, not randomly, consistently. And in between, I focus on maintaining moisture and observing plant response. That consistency is what builds momentum in your garden. Because once your soil biology is active and stable, every input becomes more effective. Now let's step back for a second, because this is bigger than just one fertilizer. What you're really doing here is shifting from a reactive approach to a controlled system. Instead of fixing problems after they appear, you're creating conditions where problems are less likely to occur. Healthier plants, stronger roots, better yields, and less work over time. If you're getting value from this kind of approach, go ahead and subscribe. This is the kind of practical, tested information that actually changes how you grow, not just what you buy, because at the end of the day, the goal isn't just faster growth, it's consistent, reliable production, and that comes from understanding how soil, water, biology, and nutrients interact. Not guessing, not copying random tips, but actually observing, measuring, and adjusting. That's what turned my garden from average to highly productive, and it all started with a simple shift, using what was already available in the right way. If you know someone who's struggling with slow growth or poor yields, share this with them. Chances are they don't need more fertilizer, they just need a better system. That's how you get real results, season after season, without burning out your soil or your time.